I'd like to call the meeting to order. First order of business, we've got some appointed members of the board, to include myself, have yet to be sworn in. So, Terry, if you take care of that for us.
Would you please stand up? I state your name.
I, James Ferguson, Major,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas
And the Constitution of the State of Kansas.
and faithfully discharge the duties of board member.
And faithfully discharge the duties of board member.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Sign my life away here.
Yes, you will.
No, you do that here after the meeting.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you. And in case you're not aware, Terry is our secretary/clerk for the district, which we pay a substantial salary to have her here.
Cup of coffee.
Same thing we did. So we appreciate
Bottle
that.
of water.
Exactly. So this time, let the minutes reflect that all the board members are present. And next item is election of board officers. I'd like to do a little explanation here before we get into that. I don't know if you gentlemen have familiarized yourself with the interlocal agreement, or the joint agreement. Joint being City of Lansing, High Prairie, and Delaware Township got together to form Fire District 1, and there's a nice agreement signed by all three entities. Stipulations on, number one, should be 3 city members, city representatives, 1 from High Prairie, then 1 from Delaware, making up the 5 members of the board. Also in those stipulations, one weird one is president and secretary or treasurer can't hold the same position. Same person can't hold 2 positions. Another one is that if a city representative is president or chairman or vice chair, the other position has to be held by a township. So those are the stipulations. Historically, to bring you up to speed too, we have done a lot, actually Jim did a lot of research and got us squared away on the bond required for the treasurer of this fire district. And he is High Prairie's representative, if you don't know that. So that being said, and if Jim is willing to continue on, if we appoint a new treasurer, we have to rebond them and go through that cycle again, which is not undoable, but it is kind of a hassle. And also in our bylaws, we changed last month, approved that we would hold a position on the board no more than 3 terms, or 3 years. And I don't think I'm leaving anything out, Jeff and Jim, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
So that being said, Jeff has been the vice chair for a number of years here under me, and we're having discussion here. My recommendation would be that Jeff be nominated for chair. If Jim will take treasurer again,
I'd be glad to take treasurer.
that would leave me for vice chair.
Okay.
And that way you 2 new gentlemen can kind of get your feet wet and see what's going on and go from there. Suggestion. Now, we need nominations for those 3 positions.
Jeff for board chairman.
Do we have a second?
Second.
There's a time lag also.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Which is we do things with Terry.
That's fine. Understand.
Because then she goes through and calls roll, right?
Hey,
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jim Fricke,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Major.
Major,
Yes.
sorry, I'll get it. Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jeff Klebb,
I'll abstain.
Dean Mulber.
yes. You want me to finish the elections?
Yeah, that probably good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that being said, nominations open for vice chair.
I move that Dean be nominated for vice chair.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
moved and seconded.
Jim Westmoreland.
Yes.
Jim Fricke,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jeff Clem,
Yes.
Dean Milburn.
Abstain. While I'm thinking of it too, you'll notice the order of voting will change every month. So you're not always locked into third position, first position, et cetera. Okay, moving on to treasurer. Nomination for board treasurer. I nominate Jim Westmoreland. We have a nomination. Do we have a second?
A second.
And a second.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jim Fricke,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jeff Clem,
Yes.
Dean Milburn.
Yes. Now, for the swearing in.
Individually or?
Individual.
Okay. I do solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and
Kansas,
the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties of board chairman.
and faithfully discharge the duties of board chairman.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Come sit down.
Congratulations. Thank you. I don't squeeze one.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties of board vice chairman.
and faithfully discharge the duties of board vice chairman.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ready for me?
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties of board treasurer.
and faithfully discharge the duties of board treasurer.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you to Dean. So real quick, he's been our chairman and kind of leader for quite a few years now. So having the opportunity to be in charge of the board for a short period of time I appreciate the opportunity. So, and thank you for the amount of time you served as chairman, Dean.
You bet.
Next in line, consent calendar. Approval for the December 7th, 2015 minutes. Any changes to that need to be made? Motion?
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jim Fricke,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Dean Milburn,
Yes.
Jeff Clem.
Yes. Moving on to new business, usually hearing from the audience for a time limit of 15 minutes, 2 minutes per person for topics not on the agenda. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say that's not on the agenda? Okay, moving on. Chief's report, special reports.
Yes, I have something to add today for an update on the sale of our reserve truck. The board authorized me to put it on for market for sale. We had received 2 inquiries, and both inquiries wanted to know when the truck was last pump tested, so we had it pump tested. When we had it pump tested, we basically ruined the truck.
Blew the truck.
Well, the motors, everything's still good. What, we had it pump tested, and last week it started leaking water, so the intake plumbing on the pump, which we just had replaced on one of the other trucks for $6,500, has got 2 pinholes in it, so now we're looking at about $7,000 to $8,000 to repair that. Plus it broke a transmission mount, so another $500 or $600 there, so we're looking at about a $8,000 repair bill on a $8,000 truck. So.
Pinholes, is that in, what type of steel? Is that in steel?
It's black steel, yeah.
Can you not weld
No,
pinholes?
you cannot.
All right.
Well, you can, but you're gonna weld and it's breaking, and it's gonna weld and it's break, and it's just basically you're chasing.
What's the operating PSI on that?
They tested at 200 pounds.
Wow.
How about we
So,
sell as is?
that's gonna be my recommendation. We put it on Purple Wave and we sell it as is, and we get what we get out of it and go from there.
I can't see putting 8,000 into a truck we haven't used in a year.
No.
And
And not,
trying to
you
get rid
know,
of
put 8,000 in it and get 7,000 or 8,000 back out of it, so
No.
we're breaking even. We can probably get 3,000 or 4,000 as it is. Somebody will want the engine, transmission, the pump's still good. You know, the body's good for, for scrap metal, so somebody will want it, so.
You got
But there's no
1,000 just
reason-
in scrap.
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
so we'll put it on Purple Wave, and there, I don't think there was a reserve on Purple Wave, is there, Jeff?
No, well, I think you can set a reserve to it if you would like, but.
Yeah, we probably just, let's get rid of it too.
If you're trying to get rid of something, so.
You know, if you put 1,000 reserve on it, you know you can always have somebody come in here and haul it off for $1,000. I mean, I do that with my trucks all the time. So
Well, that's why, what do you guys want to do with it?
I
So-
throw a small, that kind of reserve on it and see what we get out of it.
All right, well, we'll start looking at that then, and
What,
basically, we kept it a year.
About
too
making the
long.
reserve like 2,500.
That's just fine.
That way, if they come in saying nobody is here,
Well, that's
that's what'll happen.
what I want to know from you guys.
2,500 go with best offer?
Is it not?
Come with offers? Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't think you're gonna get that for it.
As is,
2,500.
minimum.
Okay. Short of that, our new RTV is out back, or out on the bay after the meeting, if you guys want to go out and see it. We don't have a trailer, we don't have skid unit for it yet. They're coming. And before you guys all leave, we've got quite a few, we've got 3 documents here for you to sign. New signature checks, or signature cards for the checks. And we got a CD at the end of the year. I went ahead and got a 6-month CD, since we're gonna be taking it right back out and buying the back system for the trucks. So I didn't spend a lot of time getting quotes and stuff on CDs, since we're gonna take it right back out. So, but we did put $24,000 away last year.
The money that's coming out shortly is for what again?
The vac system for the exhaust system, the board approved that
Yeah.
last year's budget.
All right. And the only modifications are the skid unit on, or the Kubota? What's the modification you're doing on the back? You're adding the,
Oh, the skid unit,
Thank
and
you.
we're gonna get decal,
Yeah.
stenciling and stuff. I've got a lady that has done all of her stuff. She's gonna come up this week and look at it, and we'll put her name on it. and Get it all finished up.
Miller?
Yep. With that, that's all I got.
okay. Moving on to items for action, we have the kind of yearly 2016 gap waiver from an accounting standpoint. Our accountant and the auditor both recommend that yearly. You want to give us some color on that?
We do not follow general accounting practices. I know if you guys have been reading the county is going through this also. They're getting away from their gap, and the auditor, and they're all kind of scratching their heads why they're doing it. The auditor and our accountant both say we want to do this because it's going to cost us a whole lot more money if we don't do a different accounting. You said it's legal, it's what we do every year, so it's a resolution that you guys sign every January, then they'll come and do the audit, hopefully this year in April. So last year, I think it was June, but hopefully we'll get it done in April this year.
So we need a motion for resolution 2016-1.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear who's second.
Jim.
I'm sorry.
Jim too.
Sorry. Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jim Fricke,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Dean Mulber,
Yes.
Jeff Clay.
Yes. Items B, 7B, which is the purchase of the turnout gear, and there's a request for additional units this year. So you want to just
It's real.
walk us through how many units we currently have, what the new ones are for?
We buy turnout gear every year. The turnout gear we used to get was lasting us 3 years. We were basically buying the bottom of the line turnout gear. It was lasting us 3 years. Now we've upgraded to, it's not the top of the line, but it's pretty close. And it's lasting us 5 to 6 years. So we're buying 3 sets this year for older guys that their turnout gear is 5 years old. And then we'll get 2 sets for 2 new volunteers. It's individually fit for each guy. When we get new volunteers come in, we take them upstairs and fit them from what we've got. You know, a kid wearing 34 size pants may end up with a pair of 40 pants. So, you know, they'll fit him, but they're not properly fit. So we try to buy 5 or 6 sets every year. And this year we're buying 5 sets. We do this again in January because it takes about 4 months to get this gear in unless we want to spend an extra $300 a set to get it quick ordered, which, you know, we'll get them in May, which is fine. So
How many extra sets does that leave us with?
we probably got 15 sets upstairs that are older and you know, like I say, we let the new volunteers use them and we throw them away. Like if we get 5 sets this year, we'll probably throw 4 sets away.
Any online value for selling those, or can you actually sell
We
them?
used to give them away to some departments in the county, and we'll give the older ones away. They're going bad, but if there's still some good life in them, we'll keep them for any volunteers that we have come in. But then we do either give them away or throw them away after.
Are we talking about clothing material wearing out, or also the ancillary equipment that goes with a complete turnout? What is a complete turnout kit?
Jeff, just grab your gear up there, or grab somebody's gear.
It involves
It's the
some-
coat, it's the coat and the pants. Is basically we're buying the helmets. We haven't bought helmets in several years. Gloves we buy as needed, boots we buy as needed, but the coat and pants, like I say, the coat's $1,000 and the pants are $760. So they're pretty expensive.
But
And
instead
they-
of buying them all at once, we've been doing 3, 4, 5 at a time
Yeah.
a year. It works
Because,
out pretty
you know,
well.
we're buying for a new volunteer, then they'll quit, and then helmets are about $250, but like I say, we haven't bought helmets in years.
Yeah, so it's basically just the clothing.
The coat is $1,023.23,
And the pants?
pants are $762.73,
Helmets, $250.
boots are boots are $260 a pop, and we buy those as needed.
And Jeff, where's your fireproof pocket for your phone?
It's right here. When my leg gets hot, I know my phone's hot.
They'll wear out in the feet area, the cuff area, the crotch wears out, the liners wear out.
Right now, mine is, let's see what the date here is on.
Yours is one of the ones being replaced this year.
Yeah.
They'll get holes in them, but they do have a warranty. If we get holes in them, then we can send them back and they'll fix the holes.
This is 2011. You can kind of see the color, the difference between the two. It's from heat and wearing out. Rick was talking about the cuffs.
Does that clothing protect you somewhat from heat? I mean.
Oh, yeah, that's Snow-Mix.
It's not.
This is a special.
I mean, if you get close enough to the fire, you're gonna get baked, but
Yes.
at a
Mine
distance,
is
it
starting to wear
sort
out.
of keeps you from,
I've got burn marks in my
keeps you
reflective
from
stuff.
getting,
And then general holes, the seams are starting to wear holes and stuff now.
So we're getting 5 years out of them now. We was getting 3, and then we went up in grade a little bit, so we're
Which
getting a
went
little
from
better.
a $700 coat to a $1,000 coat approximately.
Yeah, basically, but we're getting 2 more years out of it, so.
Yeah.
Plus, it's still good for, you know, if we get a volunteer, he can still wear that, you know, it's not completely wore out. And with some of the stuff we got the volunteers, we'll throw that stuff away. It gets to a point where it's completely done.
so when a fireman jumps off a truck at a fire site, he represents a lot of money because it's the
Absolutely.
clothing, the boots, the
Absolutely.
helmet, the tank, mask, all that stuff. Radio.
Without the air tank on their back, they're wearing about $5,000 worth of gear. With the air tank, that's another $6,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much weight is all that?
Oh, about 60 pounds.
Yeah, 60 to 70 pounds.
Like I said, in my report here, we went out for bids 4 years ago, and the bid was for 13 months with a 3-year extension, and this is the last year of that extension, so
But he's only giving us a 1% increase?
that's all he took this year, so.
Wow, okay.
So we're looking for a motion to approve 892980 for the purchase of turnout gear, and it was how many sets?
5.
5 additional sets.
I make a motion to approve 892980 for the 5 sets of turnout gear.
Second?
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jim Fricke,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Dean Mulber,
Yes.
Jeff Bunk.
Yes. Moving on to Section 8, items for discussion. We have the SOP of the 2001 purchasing policy. Rick, it looks like you've made some a couple adjustments that we talked about in the last meeting.
I didn't make any adjustments because Jim said he had some changes he wanted to make, and
Okay.
Dean was talking about some adjustments, so this is what I presented to you guys last meeting.
Oh, the highlighted in yellow is the
Yeah,
same as
this
last?
the same as last meeting, so I figured if
Okay.
you guys want to do a work session, or if you want to do it now, or, let these new guys see it and chew on it for a little bit.
Jeff, why don't you go over why we want to change our purchasing?
Yeah. So, one of the things that typically happens at, I think it's $5,000 or above, is there's an RFP that's required that Rick goes through. One of the areas of opportunity that we've had is going back to the vendors that we haven't been able, to take advantage of, is going back to the vendors for additional negotiations. And one of the things Rick has brought to our attention is having that ability to go back and have further conversations to kind of fine tune and my perspective is drive down costs, but I think if you add in the fact that you can get better equipment sometimes and better features at a reduced value, I think there's some opportunities there to go after reducing the requirements around the RFP and just actually going out to bid, because when you go out to RFP, there's some sealed bids, they only get to bid once, and then rather than go back and being able to drive down price a little further or some added benefits, we actually take one of the 3. And I think either adjusting the policy for a statement of, we're going to open the sealed bids, we have the right to refuse all of those bids to go back out to request additional information. I think what you don't want to do is prove to be somebody puts their best foot forward. You don't want to kind of say, hey, thanks, but we're still going to go back out to bid. I think there's a fine line of abusing your vendors by doing that, but I think there were some comments that you wanted to make around that.
Well, I give Dean the paper that I thought from some of the Kansas statutes would probably be applicable to this level of organization.
And Jim, it is, and I'd recommend that we occasionally will have a work session.
That's
Next
what I
Monday
think we
we'll
ought
get
to
together.
do, because we need to keep,
Not only for this, and talk about that, because there's some good points you had in that paperwork, but also for our new members to, it's an open session to ask any questions about how things are done or why they're done that way. Might be a good idea for those 2 items at least, to have a work session.
That sounds good. We haven't had one in a while anyway.
No, yeah.
I know for some of the big purchases, when you go out on an RFP or something, and I'm looking back at some of my government contracting, sometimes you specify a bidder's, like a bidder's conference. It's where they come in and they can ask questions, clarify some things in the RFP, And that, in the long run, that could save some problems. You get a lot better bid that way.
You do, that's right.
So, the bidders get the RFP, and then you may say, on such and such a date, if anybody wants to come in and,
And I'm not-
questions, clarify something.
And I'm not wanting to change that. If we have something, a major item, what I'm looking at is like when we bid the RTV and the skid
Right,
unit.
yeah.
$5,000 is kind of a really low number to be getting sealed bids on. Because I can go out and, if we get to, I can work these guys a little bit more if I don't get a sealed bid, because sealed bid's a sealed bid and I'm not touching it.
Yeah, you
But
can't.
if we bump up the amount to, say, $15,000, then I can go out and start working these guys a little bit harder, because we did that with the skid unit. I talked to Dean about it, and Dean says, yeah, let's do it, let's try it. And we did, and we got a pretty good price on it.
Yeah.
So, but let's say it's $5,000 anymore is not much.
Sounds like
$500,000
there's a couple.
fire truck.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm still saying, anything, say over $15,000, we get a sealed bid on, you know, we go out for sealed bids, but anything up to there, you know, we still have to have quotes. But I can work a quote, I can't work a sealed bid.
Sounds like there's a couple topics to talk about.
So, yeah.
One is your recommendation to raise the amount
Yep.
to some amount higher than where we're at today. And then the second is take a look at our policy maybe and have everybody take a look at it to add in kind of that period of conversation to ask questions in the RFP. I'm not sure if, I haven't looked at it in a while, I don't know if that's in there.
It is in there, we can have like a pre-bid meeting, like if we did, like we did the turnout gear when we
That's
did
what I
that
think they
5 years
call it,
ago. We had a
pre-bid
We had a pre-bid meeting.
Pre-bid.
We did that when we built Station 2 several years ago.
Okay.
So.
Let the guys take a look at that.
You
see if that language-
get all the contractors come in here, that way everybody knows they're bidding the same thing. But like I say, $5,000 is a real low amount.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, larger amounts.
Yeah.
And the vehicle you use to do that is a RFP, it's not a
Right.
sealed bid.
Right.
It's an RFP, request for proposal.
But the submittal of those RFPs historically has been in a sealed bid. They submit
Right.
them. the
Well, yeah,
responses
when they
to
come
those.
back, then you all get together and open the bids all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Board member concerns.
Do we want to set a date for a work session or leave it open?
Yeah, we
What
do.
want to
I'm gonna say that, thank you. That's-
I'll keep you straight.
Yes. Any recommendations?
Stay
February,
away from
18th.
end
the
of January?
19th of January.
What is that,
That's EMS night here, what I.
25th, the last week?
25th would work.
Do we usually do it on Monday,
We can do it whatever night you will. Those are the nights we're busy here.
on Mondays?
Well,
No, there's nothing,
there's nothing on the 25th.
These are the days that we have.
You know, Monday or Friday, if we can focus on those, typically traveling during the week after Monday, but I don't know, we can look at our schedules and see.
I'm good with the 25th.
I
I'm good
do,
with the 25th.
Yeah, Monday is good for me.
yeah.
Fridays are,
And what are we doing? For the work session?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Monday the
Monday.
25th, we're saying is work session.
Yeah,
Okay, I will have this policy on the agenda then. I will also, Jim and I met Wednesday, Thursday, Monday.
okay.
We'll talk about the 2016 CIP. Have that every year,
Yeah.
so we'll have that.
Why don't you give us
Get
your
your blood-
update on
get your blood pressure up.
volunteerism? Yes, I love having that conversation. Good. And maybe some volunteerism that we can talk about.
Okay.
Strategy for 2016.
We're getting quite a few in, but I'm getting very, very poor return back. I've had probably 10 people come in that I've accepted,
Yep.
and I think we've had 3 come back.
Okay.
From when they come in,
When I come in and I interview them and tell them what we require and what we give to them, I scare a lot of people off. We have a lot of restrictions that we have set, and we scare a lot of people off.
One of the topics we've talked about exploring further is paying for showing up for calls.
That's
You-
never come into question. Nobody wants to get, I mean,
That's not,
maybe the younger kids might want to, but.
would that be helpful for the new generation? There's some conversations there we
Yeah.
might want to have and maybe.
We're one of the
start
few
having that
departments that
conversation.
does not pay.
Right. Yeah, like, I guess Bonner's a pay, right?
Bonner's paid, Fairmont is now going full-time.
It's too bad.
Had to.
Tonganoxie's full-time.
No volunteers.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat. No
And so
volunteers.
the new members understand that we some time ago changed our policy. And for a volunteer to walk in and say, well, I want to drive the shiny red fire truck. Okay, great. We now have a physical fitness requirement that require all firemen, not just the paid guys. There are levels that they have to meet, training schedule, things like that. It's not a matter you hear a tone, come in and drive a big truck. It's you have to meet these qualifications. Some people don't want to do that. I'm a volunteer.
No.
Well, you go into a fire with somebody, doesn't matter if you're volunteer or paid, if you can't pull that guy out, you're gonna die. So we instituted requirements, which I think is safe and has
so
worked
we
out
call
well.
them safety requirements, we call them training
Physical
requirements.
fitness.
Physical fitness.
So the
our-
physical fitness requirements is what you're saying scares them away.
all the requirements, we require Fire 1 and Fire 2, which are college level courses. Within a year, we require a driver operator. To get any federal grants at all, everybody has to be a driver operator. Plus, I want everybody to, like Dean says, the fire doesn't know the difference between Tony as a
Right.
career guy or Jonathan as a volunteer. So I want all of our guys trained to where they need to be,
Same.
the same.
So I don't understand what's scaring them away. I mean, all this
They want to
sounds
come in and drive
exciting.
a big red fire truck and run
And
around like they're on
that's
fire.
That's it.
They don't
That's-
want to put in the training. They don't want to put in the physical fitness. They don't want to.
Well, a lot of the other volunteer groups don't require that. I think we're probably.
We are the only one in, only one in the county that requires it,
Yeah.
Of
So
volunteers.
there's,
of volunteers.
yeah.
It seems to me it's not good business not to require it. I mean,
It shows when we go
Just
to
goes back to our
we go
culture
to
that
an
we got right
emergency
now.
scene, and you can tell the difference between District 1 firemen and the other
Yeah.
firemen. It's a standout.
So it sounds like that's a good topic for a debate, conversation in the work study.
Sure.
So understand that. talk
Always
about
is.
The pay and also the continued new strategies and ways, how are you getting the 10 in the door, same old way, or if there's new things you're doing, and just kind of educate the team on that so we can start talking about it.
So these hours, let me ask you before we leave this. These hours, they count as volunteer hours, i.e. volunteer community, volunteer fire, volunteer everything, right? I mean,
Whatever.
these kids, these young adults that come in and want to participate as volunteers, do they understand the second and third order effect, what this counts towards?
I explain it to a lot of them, like, a lot of them come in, want jobs, and they don't understand. Jim's grandson came in, and he didn't understand what it takes to get a job. Like I tell them all, you go to Overland Park for a fire job, there's gonna be one job, and there's gonna be 250 guys standing in line for that job. You got to have the training, you got to have the education. And we wanted here, we've required Fire 1 and Fire 2 for years. We were the first one. As soon as I became chief, that was the first thing out of my head. Everybody's gonna be Fire 1. And then driver operator came into it several years ago, and it's just good sense that guys know what they're doing when they drive these trucks. I don't want to tell somebody we ran over their 6-year-old girl because we just didn't want to take time to train.
well, not to mention the volunteer getting killed out there and he didn't have training worth a
That's
damn.
exactly right.
That
That's
puts us in
exactly
a
right.
bind. That puts us in a bind.
I want our folks to be trained. And if we run with 20 qualified people, I would rather do that than have 30 guys on the board that show up, well, I want to show up for the big one. I don't know which end of the truck goes forward, but I want to show up for the big one. And there's departments in this county that do that.
Showing that value to somebody coming in and educating them that you're closer to a full-time spot by having those credentials. There might be some marketing or some kind of things that we can do around promoting that, because sometimes it gets lost in translation.
Right.
And there might be something there we can talk about doing.
When we're working-
That's
and we're
my
working
next
with
question
the-
was, what's the StratCom piece of how we're communicating this? Because
Well, I've got
I've had
four right
hundreds
now
of
in the
athletes
pre,
over here
I got
love
four
to
right
do
now
this.
in the pre-apprentice program. I make them show up for 30 days, and before we give them gear, and I've got 4, we just took 2 on, and we've got 4 working right now on their 30 days. So,
We might be budgeting some marketing dollars or something.
are we connected with the shadowing program that the high schools between Leavenworth and Lansing, or maybe Pleasant Ridge, is doing with all the medical side of the house? These students that are signing up for the last 2 periods of the day, are we connected where they can come and shadow and
we've
see?
got an Explorer program, but we've had 0 interest in it so far.
think that's
Fairmont's got
different, yeah.
Fairmont's got a program, and they're having very mixed results with it. They're getting kids that want to get out of school, but after school, they lose them. They just don't hang around.
But the shadowing program provides credit for school,
Okay.
for high school, which is a little probably different than just what we're talking about, which is, hey, you can get off early and go.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what
This is
that's what a lot of
a-
these kids are doing. They're getting off school
It's
early.
probably worth having that conversation
So-
and seeing.
Yeah, because I mean, we've got the kids that are wanting to go into the medical field, between the EMT
Right.
to the fire
That's
department, to the police, and they're all right there in that high-end AP classes,
Yeah.
and this is what they want to do.
Yeah.
I don't think it's getting communicated to
Right.
the counselors in the system, because,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like the next, it's, what is it, just prior to the last period of the day, is whatever periods those are, they're out for 2 of them, they have to shadow, they have
Yeah, my
to report,
daughter does that.
they have to dress a
Yeah.
certain way, they have to do things, and then they come back to school for the last period of the day, whatever that is, and then they have essays to write and tests to write. I mean, it's not just,
Trying to get out of school early then.
yeah, it's not a get out of school early like when I went to school.
And go goof off for a couple
Anyway,
hours.
okay, all right, I'm sorry I drug it out, I just,
So, looks like that'll be a good topic to add. Okay. As far as finding out about the shadowing program, your relationship with the administrator, can you have that conversation with him? Someone at the Lansing principal, someone
I
to
think
at
it's
least
gonna be the
understand
counselor.
that?
It's gonna be that,
You got that?
All right,
Okay.
thank
that
you.
high school counselor.
Okay, but at least we'll have some topic to discuss. It'll help.
Okay.
All right. Moving on, so we decided on the 25th at 7. Is that what we decided? Okay. Board member concerns.
Well, I'd just like to make an announcement. I'd like to commend Chief Hunt for outstanding budget execution. We come out at 98.27 of expenditure of all the funds equal to $28,292 left. So, that's pretty good budget execution.
As of today, that 28,000 is down to probably, well, I'd like to spend our budget down to, you get down there, it's down to probably, we probably gonna carry over about $10,000.
Well,
Because we had
that's
payroll.
getting pretty
stuff.
close to 100%
You know,
straight, huh?
Hey, the taxpayers gave it to us. Like I said, we carried over 24,000 next year, and then we have to cover this week's payroll and the other occurrences, so
We're in the black.
we're in the black.
Yeah.
All matters.
And there's nothing wasted. Like I told Jim the other day, I said, we make a nickel go a long way, but we gotta have that nickel.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Well, you've done a great job on doing it, so I for one appreciate it. That's all I have.
Order which, Jim next, which Jim?
Mr. Frickin.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay. Marcus?
No, I don't have anything tonight.
Dean?
Just like to, again, welcome and congratulate our new board members.
Thank you.
Looking forward to working with you guys, and ought to be a good year. That's all I've got. 4 years. Yeah, 2. Give me a year.
I don't have anything either. So, motion to adjourn?
I move with adjourn.
Please don't leave till you sign these 3.
A second.
We have a 2-check agreement.
Jim Westmoreland.
System.
Yes.
2 signature required.
Jim Frickin,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Dean Mulbrook,
Yes.
Jeff Pipe.
Yes.
Does it matter where I sign?